So welcome back to the Tool Shed. Maybe you found your way here through Man Uprising. Maybe you found your way through the Meaning Academy. Maybe you're one of my clients with Defiant Spirit. However you found your way here, I'm just glad you did. This is a very powerful tool. It's not mine. I borrowed it from a amazing woman. Her name is Byron Katie. Most people just call her Katie. Byron Katie. She's a she. Katie is a master teacher, and her entire work is based on this one little question. I didn't put a question mark, but it's a question. Is it true? So she has 4 steps in this, and I've adapted it. It's my language, mine tool, but you'll take it on and you'll adapt it and make it yours. And it comes down to this. The world we see around us is not what it seems. It was R. Buckminster Fuller, who was once asked who he thought the most important person of the 20th century was. And he said Sigmund Freud. Somebody said, why Sigmund Freud? I mean, list all these scientists, list all these great accomplishments. Why Freud? Freud was a great man, but why Freud? Because what Freud taught us was the invisible is more important than the visible. The invisible is more important, I would say more real than the visible. What we don't see oftentimes is what's real. And what we see is often deluding us, our senses. We think it's important because we think it's real, because we think it's true. This table, right, that the computer's on, it's solid, my eyes would tell me. Is it true? Is it true that that's solid? Well, yeah, I heard you knocking on it. Well, that's only because you're not looking at it through a microscope or a high-power microscope, and you would see that it's just electrons and protons and croutons, whatever. It's not my area of expertise. Is it true? Well, no, it's not true. It's kind of true. And that's the process that Katie takes us through, is going out into that world and challenging all of the things that are real, that are true, and bringing this tool to that situation. And more often than not, you're going to see asking, is it true, gets you to at least check in and challenge some of the assumptions. And there are so many assumptions as you navigate your day. And you just assume, oh, that's true. I want you to challenge it. Now you'll say to me, hey, B, it is true. My wife was mad at me this morning because I didn't throw out the garbage. Okay, is it true? And you'll say, yes, I just told you that. You're not listening. And I'll say, no, is it true? And then the next step is not just true, because we forget what true means, right? True doesn't mean like kind of. By definition, true means true, means was, is, will be, means always. So just nuancing that first question, it's really the same thing. Is it absolutely true? Under all conditions, no caveats, no asterisks, no conditional statements. Is it absolutely true? Well, I mean, it's not absolutely true that she was mad at me about the garbage. Actually, she was also mad because I left my, my shoes in the middle of the room. Oh, so it's not true that she was mad at you for not taking out the garbage. Well, she was still mad at me, but is it absolutely true that she was mad at you for that reason? Well, no, we established it's not absolutely true. Okay, the point though is now there's an opening. Before there was nowhere to go with it. It's true, game over, move on. Right? It's like when somebody says to you in an argument, I'm right, you're wrong. There's no more conversation to be had. That's not a dialogue. That's a monologue. Well, you're having a monologue with the things in your life, with the experiences, with the situations, with the stories you tell. And so challenging it, is it true? Okay, well, yeah, is it true? But is it absolutely true? No, it's not. Or maybe it failed the first one and no, it's not true. That's the opening. And then we start to get into it. We get curious about, well, is it true? No, it's not true. So what would my life be like? This is the third question that you ask yourself with her tool. What would my life be like, right? What is it like with that thought that my wife is mad at me over the garbage? Well, it hurts because it's so small and it's like discounting me for all those great things I did. And it's just really weighing me down. Well, it's not true. Oh, I can sort of let some of that go. What would my life be like without carrying that around? I'd be a lot lighter. I'd be certainly more loving when I went home if I didn't stew all day at work on this thing that I believe was true when it wasn't true or wasn't completely true. And I want to let this go. And so you can see this work of opening it up and letting it go, releasing and moving forward. And lastly, turning it around. right? Turning around that idea. My wife wasn't mad at me for taking out the garbage. And there's no one way to turn it around. We'll play a few different ways. My wife wasn't mad at me, but she was mad at me. Well, she wasn't mad at me for the garbage. She was mad at me for those other things. Well, that actually softens me because I was kind of a schmuck for leaving my shoes out and my clothes on the floor and whatever, treating her like my mother, and she's not my mother, she's my wife. So all of a sudden, like turning it around starts to open up some new things. Or my wife loved me for that, but it didn't feel like she loved me, but she didn't leave me, right? And so she must love me if she was that pissed that I left all that crap on the floor and whatever, and she was just grumbling, and she's not going to leave me over. So there's 1,000 ways you can go with this. But is it true? Is it absolutely under all circumstances true? What is my life with that, carrying that belief that is true? What will my life be like if I can just let it go? And lastly, how can I turn it around and turn it around and turn it around? And that last part, you're trying to find the spark, the light, the hope, the possibility, because you can build on that. And when I go home, my wife was really loving to me this morning by not divorcing me and handing divorce papers, because she probably honestly deserves to, because I'm a slob, etc. And now I go home and I'm a little bit lighter, and I bring her flowers and say, "Thank you, sweetheart. That was so beautiful this morning. Thank you for not divorcing me." And she'll have no idea what you're talking about, but you'll know, and you'll thank me, because this tool is the real deal. I'll probably do some follow-ups to is it true, and I'll do some more sort of examples, because I think this is one where examples really help. But that gives you a good place to start, and you can start using is it true in your life. I guarantee you it will change the way you look at the world, realizing that that which we think is real or true oftentimes is not, and that which we don't see, oftentimes that's what's true. So go out there and discover it and realize it and bring it into your life. And until the next time, defy your number and live your spirit.